What's up, y'all? It's VZ, and we back with another video. My camera is being weird, so it's not working right now. It's okay. Jamie Raskin goes crazy on Marjorie Greene and confronts her in front of the whole Congress. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
Construed to deny or infringe upon the due process rights of a person subject to the provisions of this act. It's so simple. And it's so simple that I think that we can all come together on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Mr. Raskin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But one of the things that we heard from the gentlelady from Georgia was that the proper response to children being massacred in school would be more armed guards, and that the way to protect people is to have more armed guards. And several things came to mind. One was that in Buffalo, the shooter, Peyton Gendron, I think his name was confronted by an armed guard who shot him, but he was wearing body armor.
Imagine being able to build anything, for any reason, in any style.
And then was able to kill the guard and go on to massacre people in the grocery store. Ms. Greene, do you think the Second Amendment protects body armor too, by the way?
Well, Mr. Raskin, here's what I do believe is I wish that people inside that grocery store had been armed, but the strict gun control where they live took that ability away from them.
I'll reclaim my time. So, Mr. Scott, your state has seen some terrible massacres, like at Virginia Tech. We saw the massacre at Uvalde, where there were lots of police officers around with guns, but they weren't able to stop the madman who got inside with an AR-15, the 18-year-old who got inside with an AR-15 and assassinated those children, such that their parents had to offer DNA to make a positive identification. Couldn't even identify them visually. What do you think about this argument that, well, what we need to do, what I understand her to be saying, is that basically everybody should be armed? Is that going to make us safer if we become the only country in the world where our solution to the problem of massacres in public places is to arm everybody?
The evidence I've seen is if you have armed guards in schools, you have no reduction in killings. You do have an increase in school-to-prison pipeline because the police officers there tend to police the children, not protect the children. And so that makes the situation actually worse. I've seen no evidence that school resource officers improve anything as police officers. If you have an additional counselor in the school, psychologist, things like that, that has been shown to reduce the incidence of violence in the school. And so to the extent that the school resource officers providing the counseling and the psychological services, that's a good thing, but unfortunately they tend to do more of the policing and not more of the counseling. But in terms of a protective, most of the school shootings have occurred at schools that have armed guards. They weren't at that end of the school, or I don't know where the SRO was in Uvalde.
Yeah.
So
I want to ask you both about the phrase well-regulated militia that appears in the Second Amendment. In the Heller decision, Justice Scalia said that there is an individual right to carry a gun. The liberals lost that case, arguing that it was only for people who are actively participating in the militia, which we would call the National Guard today. But in order for there to be the availability of self-defense for people and the ability of people to participate in hunting and recreation, which is traditional, people have an individual right. Do you believe, Mr. Scott, that the Second Amendment gives people the right to be in private armed militias against the government, or do you believe that a well-regulated militia means that the government, and specifically Congress in Article 1, Section 8, has the power to regulate the militia?
Well, I think what was thought of back then was something akin to the National Guard. The state has a well-regulated militia, and those words are in the Constitution. It also talks to the people's right, which tends to suggest a collective right, not a person's right to bear arms. I agree with Justice Warren Berger, who said that the idea that this is an individual right has been a fraud upon the people.
Ms. Greene, what about you? Do you think the Second Amendment right protects the right of private armed militias to operate outside of state or federal control?
I believe the Second Amendment gives the states the right to have a militia, and it did not expand which way that went, but it gives the state that right. And I think it's extremely important. And I just want to clarify, Mr. Raskins, I never said arm every single person. People have the right to keep and bear arms if they choose. And I also feel that, if my children are in school and a madman with a gun comes to a school to kill people, unfortunately, a psychologist is not going to be able to just talk him out of it. That is not a good way to protect kids. But again, we enjoy...
Do you think the students should be armed?
I think children should be trained with firearms. I definitely do. I think that's very important so that they understand the
So they could repel someone who comes in.
That's
with
not
an
what I
assault
said. I said I believe children should be trained with firearms so they understand how to use them and understand the safety. But I think that...
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I don't know these people, okay? I just watch these videos and I give my honest opinion. I see what she's saying, but like I see where she's coming from, where she says you need to train kids on how to use guns, but this is not the right scenario to put that, to say that in, you know what I'm saying? Because they're talking about school shootings, talking about a person coming to the school and try to shoot the school up with kids in there, and she said she thinks that kids should be armed. So it makes it seem like you're saying they should be armed in school. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the point of teaching your kid, training your kid with a weapon and sending them to school with no weapon? Like, what's the point of that? You know what I'm saying? As far as this conversation. So I can see why he's questioning her. Like, what do you mean? Like, you think kids should be armed in school? But I see what she's saying, but then I don't. I just don't agree with her. You know what I'm saying? But I see she's trying to explain. She's trying to start a little argument or whatever, but nah, that has nothing to do with... I can say nowadays, like, outside is scary. Going outside is, like, scary because people have guns. But, like, teaching kids with guns is not... There's no point. Like, that's why we have their parents and their older brothers, whatever, to protect them. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's some down south stuff right there. Kids with weapons. Let's get it.
That we should allow states to choose how they protect schools. I believe more in state rights and a lot less in federal intervention.
I want to be clear about your position. There are 50 states that now ban private militias on the theory that people don't have a right to take up arms against the government. You agree with that?
Mr. Raskins, I believe we're talking about due process rights. I'm not sure how we're onto this about private...
We're talking about the Second Amendment.
Yes, we're talking about the Second Amendment. That's right. I think
you mentioned abortion a moment ago, but if we could stick to guns for a second.
Well, abortion kills babies, innocent. We're talking about kids being killed.
Okay, good.
Abortion kills innocent children.
All right, I got your...
They can't protect themselves at all from this horrific procedure.
Sounds like you want to arm them. But in any event, my question is about militias.
That's impossible, Mr. Raskins.
But I wanted to talk about militias. Do you agree that it's constitutional for the 50 states to ban private militias?
I don't think they should be banned. Or the federal government isn't protecting our border. We're being invaded every single day by an unknown amount of people coming illegally across our border. I think we're in a time where states have the rights to be able to figure out how to protect their citizens.
Right. So here's what the states have figured out, Ms. Greene. They've figured out that private groups who are armed should not be taking up arms against the government and have no Second Amendment right against the state. So you agree with that?
I think the Second Amendment is clear. It means that we need well-armed citizens. And I
Okay.
believe that's extremely important, Mr. Raskins. And as weird as this body, or the Senate perhaps, is trying to violate the Second Amendment, but yet the Supreme Court just ruled yesterday that Americans need to be able to keep and
Yeah.
bear arms, carry them.
Handguns
Bear
and
them
concealed
means
carry.
carry them.
Okay.
Carry them in order to
So,
protect
Ms. Greene,
themselves.
but I just found something that said, you're quoted as saying in talking to Real America's Voice, that whereas January 6th was just a riot at the Capitol, and if you think what our Declaration of Independence says, it says to overthrow tyrants. So do you think that the assault on the Capitol was a legitimate exercise of popular insurrection?
Oh, Mr. Raskins, I know it's early in the morning, but this is the Rules Committee. This isn't your Trump derangement committee that you call the January 6th committee.
My last name doesn't have an S on it, Ms. Greene.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
Mr. Raskin.
Okay, you've been talking about the Second Amendment. You came here to talk to us about the Second Amendment, right?
I'm here to talk
And so-
about due process rights and protecting Americans'
Okay.
due process rights.
All
Yes.
right, so I just want to be clear. You've been quoted at least as saying that the January 6th riot at the Capitol was in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence, which says you can overthrow tyrants. You've also testified that people have a right to carry guns, presumably wherever they want to go. So it seems to me that lots of people were armed on that day, but the logic of your argument is that everybody could have been armed and brought their weapons with them. And I'll take that
What
as a
evidence?
conclusion.
What evidence do you have that a lot of people were armed that day,
Oh,
Mr. Raskin? Do you have that to introduce into the
just
record?
wait for it. But when it comes out, presumably you'll be supporting it, right? That they would have a right to have guns and knives with them. Is that right?
Mr. Raskin.
Is that your position?
No, Mr. Raskin.
No, I'm
again,
going to ask
I
the
think-
questions here because this
I
is the
think- I
Rules
think
Committee.
you've-
You're not a member of the Rules Committee, Ms. Green. Are you?
I'm a
Are you a
witness.
member of the Rules Committee?
I'm a witness here at the Rules
Okay, so
Committee
let me just ask you a
that
question.
is talking about due process rights, not your lies about January 6th, about President Trump and others.
That was kind of crazy. I don't know. Let me know. Y'all let me know what y'all thinking about down in the comment section. How y'all feel about these two people in the video, and how y'all feel about guns in general. Guns when it comes to the school shit. Guns with the, you know what I'm saying? So the school be more like secure than it is, and people just walking in with guns. I think metal detectors should be at every single school. You know what I'm saying? Because kids are just having guns in school in a backpack and just shooting it up. So why not they need to putting metal detectors in every single school. Let me know what y'all think about guns in general, on the streets in general. Because guns is like, in the U.S. is insane. Not gonna lie, but I got way more videos to do. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload, y'all. I love y'all. Peace and love, baby. We out.